Boom, we're recording. Surprise! Welcome back, kings, queens, everything's in betweens. Another episode of the Peasant Party Podcast. I'm your host, Charlotte Ward, and who's back?
Hi, it's me.
It's been a while.
I know. Last episode we did was with Buddy, huh?
Yeah, there's been like 2 episodes in between. That's all good, though.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
Was I there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
No, but
Okay. What? There's episodes without me?
Yeah. You don't watch them, do you? You don't watch the ones you're not in?
No, I don't watch any.
You don't watch anything?
Especially the ones I'm in.
Oh.
Fuck no, dude.
Nice.
Absolutely not. That shit is horrifying.
Nice.
I forget that I gotta stop.
Oh, you're fine.
Gotta stop swearing.
We just like recorded part of an ad spot in Italian. They sent us a script in Italian,
and we read it. We probably weren't supposed to actually read that.
It was like Gorlami.
Butchered it. Absolutely butchered it. Not a clue what I was saying, but we did that.
Assolutamente.
Assolutamente.
Dryglamory.com.
Hey,
you get a free ad on the podcast, Glamory.
There you go.
Congratulations on your expansion to the U.S. What's new with you, Boogaloo?
Well, tomorrow I have to go to court to fight a ticket. I turned right on a stop sign that popped out of a school bus. Like any normal girl would do, okay? I was pulling out of my parking garage.
Oh, cool. You almost killed children.
Hey, listen. I would never do that.
10 points.
I would never do that, silly goose. Oh my God, I have news for you.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell you last night, even though we hung out. This is either terrible news, great news, not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I received my acceptance letter to Raya.
Ooh, congratulations.
I'm on Raya this month only because that shit's $25 a month.
Oh, fuck that.
Bullshit, but I needed to know.
Nice. Have you seen anyone famous on it?
I saw... I think I'm not supposed, because I screenshotted it and then I got a notification from Ryan.
Oh yeah, you get in trouble. Don't do that. You get you get kicked off. You have one accident.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you can't do it again.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, they yelled at me, but I still got the screenshot. It was, am I allowed to say?
Just say it. Are they gonna find you?
Cord Overstreet.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Wasn't he in Glee?
Glee, yes! Oh. My king from Glee.
You were in your college Glee club.
Glee club, yes.
Sorry, it's
yes.
show choir.
Show
you
choir.
Guys were really good.
A cappella. My college was a cappella. High school was show choir. But yes,
right.
I was a big Glee girly. I don't know.
And you were really good. And those girls were so nice. The vocal motion girls.
Bro, I miss them so much.
They were so nice. I really liked them.
Biggest pack of lesbians. Like, oh my God, dude. An absolute powerhouse. That changed me so fundamentally. Like, being in that group with all of these, women who just don't fuck with men at all. And we all just lived with each other, all through college. It was so fun, dude. I miss them.
Yeah, I remember I had a great time meeting them. Very nice women.
Yeah.
Really liked them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess to jump into the episode, congratulations on your Raya acceptance.
Thank you!
We're actually doing some dating news today because there's a whole we always love to cover what's new in the dating world. The dating news that has come up lately. First, I guess, are you familiar with the Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook groups?
I'm familiar with some extent of Facebook groups, Instagram groups, where it will kind of be fair warning about these types of people. I mean, in the tattoo world, they have a lot of not a lot, but there are call out pages. There are group chats, really big group chats between female tattooers to, let people know, watch out for things. But I'm not sure I know what you are referring to specifically.
Cool. Well, perfect, because I want to give everyone a refresher of what these groups are. So there are groups called Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook groups. They exist on Facebook, where the idea is they're women-only groups. They have them for different areas or cities. So there would be an Austin group or an Atlanta group called Are We Dating the Same Guy? Exclusive to women only, with the idea that women can post in there about a guy that they might be dating, to make sure that they are not dating. The idea or intent is to make sure women are protected from men with bad intentions, men hiding a family, married men hiding a family, guys with a violent past, something like that.
Totally.
So it's, the idea is women either say, hey, I've been dating this guy. Does he belong to anybody? AKA, are we dating the same guy? Or anything, any red flags I need to know about, or, woman goes on a bad date, guy tries to force himself on her.
Sure.
You know, she takes
Worst
a
case
screenshot
scenario.
of the profile and says, "Hey, FYI, this happened. Stay safe, ladies."
Totally.
That is the intent of them. We'll go into kind of, you know, the debates or the you know, nuance of them. But the news story out right now is that a Chicago man who was posted in one of these "Are We Dating the Same Guys" for his area is mass suing, I believe it's 12 Jane Does, because these posts are anonymous, for $75 million in damages. He's also suing Meta, claiming he is a victim of doxing and privacy invasions. The comments that have been left about him include claims that he is clingy but also a ghoster at the same time, awkwardly flaunted money. He is apparently a repeat offender on the site, hence the 12 Jane Does. Something that kind of caught me as well, there's been articles posted since this lawsuit was filed. It appears he is also someone who might be on the hook for like tax fraud or has, you know, filed other lawsuits in the past. But that's something that's kind of going on right now. These groups have kind of made their way into lawsuit land. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so there are several caveats to this. The one glaring one being that he's quite fond of lawsuits, it sounds like.
It seems like it. So, because I see that
problem child for
because I see that, and like, regardless of what you think of the groups, you know, they're very militant, it seems, about, you know, people sharing what is in the groups outside them. You know, there's stuff where it's like the rule is like you take screenshots and share them anywhere. We will kick you out. We will blacklist you from the other groups. You know, if we find out it's you that's telling people about them, if you're a TikToker and you talk about "Are we dating the same guy?" you know, you get kicked out of your local group, because, you know, this guy. Maybe he probably had some sort of like a female friend who tipped him off or something, but no one probably would have known about him being in these groups. It's definitely like that Streisand effect if he wasn't filing a lawsuit. Now, and now everybody knows that there are 12 women who commented these things. So it seems like it didn't really. It's also just like. So
it sounds like he doesn't really give a shit about
the
actual impact on women. He saw an opportunity. In the mist.
So very much Streisand effect. That would not be a lawsuit that I would file, especially if they're calling you clingy. Like, no one's saying like, here's his address, like, go ding dong ditch him.
Doxing and privacy invasion. I wonder what the logistics are of that. And like to what extent that goes, because libel and defamation, does it go into that territory, or does that mean you would have to disprove the claims that are made, and what kind of claims are made and how egregious are they?
Well, I know those are always hard to claim, or like libel, defamation, because you have to prove intent to like harm another person, like you're intending to hurt someone's reputation. That's why like tabloids, it's like our intent is to entertain, not like I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. But so it sounds like, though, you know, that's kind of your thought on this lawsuit. You're not in any of these groups, right? You haven't been on Facebook in a minute, right?
No, I'll go on Facebook every so often to like look for old pictures. But no, I feel like that probably would be like a good place to hide them, though, right? Is in Facebook. Like on Instagram, I feel like, I don't know, when you see call out pages, it usually you don't have as much information. You don't have like the identity of the person posting these things often, because they try to like keep them anonymous. I'm just thinking specifically of the ones that have been created for like tattooers. Where there's male tattooers, and it will be like a page dedicated to it, and you can submit, and you write in anonymously, and then they like post these.
Like the only way a group like this would work is Facebook, because you have to like a restricted mission, like it's like a feed. Like if you think of like what Facebook looks like, it really would only work on Facebook. Like, because so I'll give it. So I was not on Facebook for a while. Probably through like I was already in a relationship once I got back on to expand our content pages, whatever. And also I wanted to be on Facebook Marketplace, and so while in the process, I'm like, you know, these like, "Are we dating the same guy?" groups. I keep hearing about them. Like, what are they all about? Like, and so I go ahead and I join a few. I guess I'll share my experiences. I'll probably get kicked out of all these. I joined 3. I joined Austin, I think Ventura's, and maybe like Santa Barbara's.
I want in.
But so when I went in there, like I heard all these, like all the hubbub about it. Like I had never been in one as a dater. I don't know. I get admitted to the group, and like I'm trying to like think of how to put this into words. I opened it up and I was like, was this what all the hype was about? Like the things that are posted in there, and so that's another thing too. So I know two women who run their their local page for a larger like city, and they're like they run the way they run their group, like they're divorced, they're moms of sons, so they're very much like, we're here to protect women, no bashing men, like we're moms of sons, like we don't want that in our group. But it seems like there's a lot of like disparity between how each of the groups are run, and it seems like there's like inner chatter among group leaders, because I know with them they had some things to say about other group leaders and said, well, we don't run their group like them. So, of course, it kind of feels very much like sorority.
How do you mean? What is
I think, well, so some groups, and you can just tell because in the 3 different ones that I joined and lurked into, the tone is very different. Like, there was one group that felt like it was entirely boomers because it's for the area. Okay. It could be
right.
It could be anybody, any age, whatever. And it felt like a ton of boomers. Like it was people posting like clearly AI generated photos with like people with the 6 fingers or something, being like, anybody ever like dated this guy? And it was ma'am, that's an AI photo. Like minion memes, all cap writing, signing their names and stuff, and like. Just like clueless people about like dating, and like just stuff that kind of made you sad, where it's like, oh yeah, like this guy's like, we've had some like FaceTime calls, but the video doesn't work, and he says he's in France, and he's like Post Malone's manager or something. It's like, oh man, like this woman is getting scammed. So there's one that's like that. There was one where like people would just post like about like certain guys. They're like, I'm like, I see this guy, should I swipe right? So it's like they're not even matched with him yet. So they're not even like, or it's like I matched with him. Like what do people think? It's not like they're 3 dates in and it's like, I want to I want to make sure that he's green flag before I go to date 5. It's people that have been on like 1 date, or it's people kind of like not very far. And then there's some where it's like, oh yeah, like he says that he is buying $1 million house, but he just hasn't really secured the offer yet. So he's been sleeping on my couch. Like, is this a red flag? And people are like, yes, but they don't listen. So there's some that are just like all over the place. There's one that's like has no rules about kind of being catty. There's one that's like militant. So it really just depends, I think, like what group you're in.
So some moderators, it sounds like, run a tighter ship than others.
Yeah. So I think your experience in these groups varies group by group.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it varies based on the platform. Number 1, Facebook. So what type of people are on Facebook?
Boomers.
Number 2, it varies by your surroundings, your location, your socioeconomic status.
Yep.
I think probably there are like different rules of decorum. I feel sometimes like some people are a little more street justice and they'll talk shit on the internet, and then there are some that are like more reserved, and it's it sheds a negative light on you, and you need to be prideful and whatever. Like regardless of all of that, I think I do stand in support for the most part of groups like these. Yes. Yeah, I think they can get messy. Maybe at a certain point you have to like shut it down, drain the swamp, whatever, figure it all out, clean it out, set new rules. But like Reddit, like that's pretty heavily moderated. Do you think that would be a better platform for something like this?
Well, I think it's...
Or is that too exposed, too open?
I wonder if it's too exposed, because I think there is something that comes with Facebook. I think when the posts actually happen, they're anonymous, but the moderators do see who sent it. Like I think like what comes with Facebook is like there's still some barrier to entry that you have to like prove you're a real person, and it's still in the back of your mind, even if they're not showing your face. It could be tied back to you if there's some sort of like legal thing. So I think it would be better. Like it shouldn't be on Reddit, shouldn't be on 4chan or anything like that. Like it should, if it's anywhere, it should be Facebook. But like I think just because like they're open to anybody in the area, like every single one I opened, I was like, if I were a single person dating and I was like, is this guy sketchy? These would be the last people I would want any sort of insight from. Like I feel like, yeah.
So granted, okay. And I guess it sort of depends how you use it, right? But for me, if I were on a page like this, I can say confidently that I probably would never be the first to post something about a man or describe a man or my experience with him. Just because, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be the first one to throw it out there. It's just, it feels a little bit too like exposed for me. Maybe someday, unless it was a really, really terrible offense and he did something insane. He stole my fucking wallet or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this bitch
Yeah.
is a thief. But if somebody posted about someone that I know or somebody that I had gone on a date with and I had had a weird experience, absolutely I would chime in, which I think it sounds like is what happened with this man and the 12
like there's
12 allegations.
Because if there's one, it can be like, you know, someone had it, like, people have had a bad Charlotte Warren date, and I'm sure, like, if there was reviews, I get 1 star. Like, sometimes it just happens sometimes, and like you can have people that get bent out of shape, but like 12, it's like, okay, like at some point you kind of add things up. Like, am I the problem? So yeah, like that's kind of he's not innocent here.
Certainly not. And I think honestly, like if we look at cinematic parallels, you have to also you would have to like kind of explore the conversation of Me Too when thinking about this, because a lot of Me Too was like, finally somebody broke the ice, somebody spoke up, somebody said something at enormous risk to their career, and it's only because other women had had the same experience and felt then emboldened to tell their story on the same person that these allegations start to mount, and that you have power in numbers. It's brave to be the first one to say something, because it's fucking risky. It's fucking risky.
Yeah, there's also just the, like, was it that bad? Like, you question yourself, because sometimes it's
totally.
Like,
was it that bad? And I mean, granted, we talked about this when Buddy was on the podcast, all three of us, where he was like, you know, honestly, after a bad breakup, men usually kind of like stay quiet about it because they're kind of embarrassed, but women will talk shit. Hate to say I agree with him, but it's absolutely true. I think emotions run high. That is, there are risks incurred with dating anyone, breaking up with, like, hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. That is not a new concept. That is not brand new to men. They can't be like, what the heck? Like, yeah. If you cheat on a woman, like, you better park your car in the garage next few nights because your tires are living on borrowed time. But we haven't had this power of organization until very recently. And I think because of that, we are like, it's less about immediate revenge and more about protecting other women from the same fate. Yeah. Because I think we also know now collectively that if a man did this to you, he will probably do it to another woman. Like there's this myth that like, oh, a man will find the perfect woman who will break him of all of his bad habits. And if he cheated on this girl, it must have been because she was doing something wrong. No. If he cheated on her multiple times throughout their relationship, whoever's getting into a relationship with him next, guess what, girl? Yeah. Same shit. It's not different.
Oh, totally.
So
that's like, yeah, that's what they should be. Like, cheaters, yes.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, cheaters has another family, like,
sure,
sketchy stuff.
Lying about money, lying about swindling. Like, people I think genuinely are like, there are plenty of men who are born scammers. This dude who does the lawsuit shit, that's a born scammer, baby. Yeah. That runs through his veins. Like,
yeah, like, yeah.
You want to stay away from him because, he will take advantage of people that are close to him.
Totally. And like, because I remember, like, and something else too is like, I have never seen anybody that is posted on these groups that looks like anybody I would ever hang out with. I don't know any, like, actually I know one person who said they were posted on their local group, and it was like one of those, like, I'm thinking about swiping right, and it was like somebody that was, you know, different age bracket who's like, it's super, like, he's like someone I know is just in the group, and they're just like, what the fuck, like, I know him, and that's the thing too, is like some of these groups, like, if you have a guy that's nice and stuff, other women will stand up for them. Like, if like a guy friend is posted and someone's like, meh, like, and is clearly being mean, like if someone says something about someone's looks, like, a lot of women do jump in, because, you know, a lot of women are sisters to brothers, like, we love our dads, like, yeah, we don't want that.
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, interesting to see what those groups have come to. I personally think that the fear of them is overblown, just because they're
Yes.
like the stuff that's like there's a lot of like riffraff in the form of just should I swipe right or like hi ladies, hope you're having a good day, minion meme from a boomer. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. I mean, I see it in the tattoo world, but that also like it's different from dating in some way because when you are speaking ill of a man based on, you know, your own personal experiences, but it then affects his career.
Mm-hmm.
So like with these tattoo pages where somebody will call out a male tattooer for having done something, said something, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not just about, oh, don't date him. It's about like, oh, don't go to get tattooed by him.
Mm-hmm.
And that could very easily sink his career. So it's like,
Totally.
It's just more delicate.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of have to be like a little bit more, it's like less about just going on dates with them. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's kind of a fine line there, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like tattooers in general just have thick skin. So the stuff you're gonna be saying is like he touched me inappropriately, or like he like took extra money. Like some of these groups do have people being like, well, he was kind of weird. Like you're not gonna see that in a tattooer call out.
Exactly.
Like you guys are too tough for that. You guys are like, okay, cool. Like fuck off.
Yeah.
Grow up hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. What do you feel about vaping?
Oh, interesting. How do I feel about vaping?
We got a fun question. I don't know if you read it ahead of time.
I didn't. Sorry. But my opinion on vaping. Wow. I think it's Zoomer corporate garbage. Like I think it's poison. I think that the use of coltan is destroying the Congo. I think that vaping is a bad habit. I don't think it's the same as smoking cigarettes because there's like a smell, an offensive smell there. Am I tapping into the right thing? Okay.
I just think it's funny for what like you're I'm gonna enjoy how you're gonna respond to this listener if this is what you've got to say about vaping.
Great.
I'll just go into
for it.
If I vape, do I have to say I'm a smoker on a dating app? Parentheses straight guy. That's our subject line.
Oh my God.
Went on a date with a woman. After it ended, I waited with her outside for her Uber. Gentlemen, okay, good so far. I had my pen in my pocket, and while we're talking, took it out and took a quick hit. She stops herself mid-sentence and says, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I didn't realize she was looking at the pen at first, was confused, and said, "What?" She went off about how she hates smoking, how her uncle died of lung cancer, and she specifically had the non-smoking filter on the app. She accused me of lying to get matches and demanded I leave. Was too stunned to speak. I left. Else happens sometimes. But after, had to wonder if I missed some memo on this. There is no vape filter on the dating apps or dipping. So does smoking just mean anything with tobacco? Do I have to check this box? If so, that's shitty and not fair. I don't smoke, I vape. I hate smoking too, and it's worse than vaping. My friend group is divided on this, but it's all along the lines of people who vape versus people who don't. The internet doesn't seem to know either. Do you know the answer?
I don't smoke, I vape!
Stop vaping!
I only vape!
I vape!
Ah!
We're busting balls.
I mean, here's the thing. What did she say her reason was that she doesn't like vaping? She
basically treated it as smoking. Like she saw.
Yes, but was it
her uncle died of lung cancer?
Died. Okay, so
like I've heard of people's lungs collapsing but there's
totally.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between not liking smoking because the smell is offensive, because you can't stand it, because it makes you feel sick when you're around them, because they always have to step outside to smoke. And not liking it because you watched it kill somebody from the inside. And I understand that because I've dated people that vaped, and like I've seen them go. I have friends who have gone to the ER because they coughed up blood from vaping. Like I understand not wanting to date somebody who you genuinely feel is like taking on such a risking their own life, and you kind of have to be around it, you know? I do get that. But I would say it is kind of up to her to elucidate that in her dating app. If vaping is included, you should be like, no vapors, please.
Yeah.
You should say that straight up. You should be clear about that.
I think it's tough. Like, I think we're always like blaming the people. Like, it's like the dating apps kind of made this hard. They put a little stick that looks like a little cigarette.
Smoking,
and
it's
smoking.
Like weed. Smoke weed.
But weed has its own category. It has its own little
on Hinge.
I think it does on Bumble. Did it last time?
Maybe.
I haven't been on Bumble, and I mean,
maybe. I always look for if they smoke weed. Like, ooh, are you one of these?
Yeah, like one of us? I think it's like last I checked, there's not a filter for it. Like, so it's like, is tobacco? Because I get it. Like, it's like, I think the smoking thing, a lot of people think like smoking does affect other people because they have to deal with the secondhand smoke. Vaping, you don't. But some people, they don't want to be in a romantic relationship with someone who they think is making a choice that is unhealthy, that will make them die an early death.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I don't think so. I think I blame the dating apps for this kind of like miscommunication here. Like, I do think when I think of like people when I'm with a stranger who wants to vape, or like a kind of like relatively, like, I don't know them that well, maybe I've never seen them vape before. We step outside for whatever reason and they want to vape. I do have, for whatever reason, I have people, maybe it's because like the cloud of vape is annoying to some people, but like, oh, hey, do you mind if I vape? Like, FYI. Like, I've seen people do that, and like, maybe that's the thing to do. But like, at the end of the day, like, I also think people don't really have this reaction. Like, not everyone's uncle dies of lung cancer. Like, sometimes you're just going to get people who like think something like there's people who think weed is like the equivalent of heroin. Sure. It's just how they it's how they were raised. It's how they feel strongly. Sure. I won't understand it, but that's just how some people are. Like,
I will say at the tattoo shop, we kind of have like an established like unspoken rule book. Just amongst like what we all agree is very rude behavior, especially in somebody's business, in somebody's house, whatever, in somebody else's space. When people come in and they vape inside, large cloud, small cloud, no cloud, regardless, you are polluting the air of the people around you, and it is not your space.
Yeah.
So personally, I don't mind when people do it if I'm tattooing them and they're in pain and they really need to rip the vape. Like, I don't give a shit. But
we're not allowed to vape in here.
Exactly.
To vape, we can't.
But
vape
you
here.
may not. But you may not. And yeah, I have like straight edge coworkers, sober coworkers who are just like, oh, I don't want to, like, no, it's rude. And it's in the same category as people who sit in the lobby and watch TikTok videos on full volume, or who FaceTime while they're getting tattooed, or just it's the same, like. It's the same level of rudeness. You are taking up
the air, like it's
air, the space. You're taking
polluting
up other
the air.
people's. Yes, exactly. It's just like inconsiderate, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an emotional reason attached to it too, like I think that's probably
very
why she had
emotionally
that
attached to his
reaction.
vape.
I mean, but she is emotionally attached to her uncle who died.
Yeah, two emotional people.
Yes, so
at odds with one another.
I don't smoke. I
don't smoke. It was so funny. The company that I spent a lot of years at had to put out a memo for this office saying like no, like it was like a whole long memo of like we're not allowed to. It was when Juul was a thing.
Yeah,
like, you can't Juul at the office. My God, I hate talking about exes, but like. I had an ex who was a big fan of the Juul back in the day.
Okay, yeah.
He liked the Juul. You wake up, you hear the crackle, like, ooh.
Bro, all my exes.
That's nice.
All of them.
The Juul, like, but like, we go to San Antonio for a weekend trip. We go to the Alamo, a historical building. And I'm like looking inside the Alamo. I'm talking to the docent. I'm like, where did blankety blank go? And I turn around and I look, and he's standing by the wall. There is a power outlet there. He's standing by. He's like, look, I'm charging my Juul at the Alamo.
Oh my God, dude.
And then his parents come 2 months later. For like Easter weekend or something. We go to San Antonio again. I'm with the mom talking. We go to the Alamo again. And I look. He's like with his dad. He's like, we're charging our Juuls at the Alamo.
You know what? I wish. Here's the thing.
People have their emotional ties to their vape.
Here's the thing. So, okay, multiple points here. First of all, I don't know if you've heard about this, but the cartpocalypse, which occurred, it began, I guess, in the beginning of the pandemic when people were getting like their weed mailed to them, like weed carts, you know, THC, like cartridges of wax pens. People talk about how people who got hooked on these things, like their brain was never the same. They literally are stupider now because of that.
Makes sense.
I feel like it's probably the same for vapes because the people that I know that smoke vape are like da-da, da-da-da.
I'm like doing the voice and everything.
I'm being so mean. However, I also must say that I do not understand the addiction to the vape because when I try to rip a vape, my lungs cannot take it. I cannot take it. My lungs will not like take on it just rejects it. So I have always been like, well, guess it's not for me. I won't smoke the vape. Same with cigarettes. Smoke weed all day, but for some reason smoking a vape, I'm like, yeah, my lungs wouldn't take it on. So I can't understand necessarily the addiction to it. I have witnessed it. I've had exes who and the addiction is really, really hard to kick, especially if you also drink. So like one of my exes, he was ripping that shit all the time, constantly. And then he was like, okay, well, shit, I need to quit. Quit cold turkey, was very ill for like 2 days, like super sick for 2 days. And then was kind of able to be off of it. But then few weeks later, month later, after all of that work on his sobriety, has a few drinks, you see a friend ripping a vape, and it triggers the addiction. You're like, damn, that shit would hit so good right now. Just one hit, just one little, and you're done, and you're back in it.
Stop vaping.
Stop vaping. Don't start.
Don't stop vaping.
Don't start. Just say no. How about that?
Just say no to vaping.
What if you just said no? Huh?
Just say no. I'm Nancy Reagan.
What would happen if you did that?
Again.
If you just said no?
The fucking Jewel at the Alamo ex. Like I also just thought of this. You know those like random posters.
He was so
but like you know those posters that you see like around town for like the Shenyun Chinese like ballet performance.
Yes.
And you're like, who goes to this?
Oh.
This guy went to Shenyun. Like this is like. But
it never even.
He didn't see the political memo in it at all. He just thought it was a Chinese ballet performance. What? He was also the one he liked to go to mega churches because he'd be like, it's like a concert. They serve coffee there. Like I start.
Babe, that's the whole. That's the whole argument.
When
I
first like started like meeting Buddy before we even met in person. Like we're like, hey, you're religious and stuff. He's like, one thing I can't get behind. He's like, if a church has a gift shop, fuck it.
If they have fucking
and I'm like,
acrobatic performers at the Christmas production, if they have goddamn camels walking on stage, babe.
Oh, seen those.
You're getting
Jewel
scammed.
at the Alamo would get like front row seat tickets, and he'd be like, "I got my Jewel. I'm watching camels on the stage."
Jewel at the Alamo.
Someone married him.
That's his name. Someone married him.
Someone married him.
Hey, Mrs. Jewel at the Alamo.
Mrs. So
lucky gal.
This will come back and bite me in the ass. Oops.
So well, it's fine.
But yeah, like what was I gonna say? We have another letter.
Oh shit!
Stop vaping. Sorry,
vaping.
we had to make sense of vape. I think based on the tone of that letter, I'm sorry if we were too harsh with you.
Oh, if we're hating, hating and you have a problem with that,
we're trying to be cool.
Write it in the comments.
We also have a younger brother who likes
who
likes his vape too much, and we would say
his vape all the time.
This is exactly what I would say to him if someone girl. I would be like some chick.
Okay, let's hear.
Okay, I'm gonna have a visceral reaction to this already.
All right.
Why the lack of response to rejection texts? I have a general question. I think we're at this point, we're pretty much agreed that ghosting is bad and communicating when you're not feeling it is usually the best option barring safety concerns. I personally do my best to kindly let the people I date know when I don't want to continue seeing them. Lately, I've gotten total silence after these texts. I'm talking after like 1 or 2 dates. I realize rejection sucks, and I'm absolutely not expecting a ton in response, but a general acknowledgement would be nice. Talking to one of my friends about it, he thinks it's totally valid to take the L without responding. To me, being able to accept rejection gracefully is part of being a mature adult, and I was curious how others felt. I know they don't owe me anything, but I can't help but think it's a bad look. If it matters, I'm a woman who dates men. And yes, when I get rejected, I respond politely. There are too many people willing to disappear instead of facing uncomfortable situations for me to not feel grateful when someone communicates clearly with me.
Frankly, if you're sending me a rejection text, I will not respond gracefully. If somebody doesn't respond to a rejection text, that's a dub, babe. Turn around and run away. What the fuck? What do you want them to say?
Thank you. Thank you for your rejection.
Thank you so much for being honest with me.
So you know what I would do? As I would be, if I would get rejected, like I would, because I would have the times when like you would kind of feel like it's like, okay, things are pittering out. Like when I was like single and this would be happening. Like, and I would look down at my phone and I would see the, hey Charlotte. It was always like, hey Charlotte. Like, so like, you know, I've had a great time with it. I would see it, like I would see the paragraph and I'd be like, nope. And I would delete the message.
You wouldn't even read it.
Nope. And I would block the number.
That's power. See, that's internal. Like,
but it wasn't some sort of power move to them. It was because I have such a big fucking, I hate breakup texts.
Yeah.
I hate them. And I don't know what it is. I'm like holding the microphone. I'm Shingulous.
Yeah.
But
both hands.
Yeah, get the cheese, Danny. Get the cheese, Danny. I can't do it. But like, no, like I always felt like, and I know people like road to hell is paved with good intentions. Like a lot of guys, I would feel like maybe I know there are women who would appreciate the like, it's okay, little kid. Like, 'cause so many guys write these rejection texts as though they're like a dad telling their 6-year-old daughter who lost her first soccer game ever, like, it'll be okay. Like, you're going to be fine. Go get him, kid. Like,
you'll find a
But so many guys would write it like that. And I'm like, are you fucking, like, it's just like, I hate when people talk down to me. I fucking hate it so much. My ego is too big for that. And so it was just like, I don't want to read this. It will make me feel like this kindness does not land well with me. Like, what? I'm not going to thank somebody for being patronizing to me. I don't care what their intention was. I don't want, like, if you're going to write, I'm sure this isn't what, like, the sentence I hated the most.
Oh my God.
I'm sure this isn't what you want to hear.
You want to die, bitch?
How do you know what I want to hear? How do you know how I feel? No. So I would delete those messages. So I'm telling this woman,
I'm sure this isn't what you want to hear.
I know
but I don't
I know
you.
this. No.
I'll kill you.
No. Don't kill children.
Kill you.
10 points. But no.
Definitely.
No.
I agree. Fully, wholeheartedly.
Well, do you want them to thank you?
Yeah.
No. I think them not responding, and that's also too, like, you're the one that gets to end it. So, like, I think, like, being the dumper and being the dumpy are both equally hard, though some gravitate toward one more than others. But some people, when they're the dumper, they want to absolve themselves of the shitty part of being the dumper. They want to be able to do it and be able to control the outcome that the other person won't hate them. They're like, you know, I want to end it, but, like, the other person hates me. What the hell? Or, like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this nice thing. Why didn't they respond nicely? It's like, that's part of being the dumper.
Yes.
Like, they get to be blindsided, and they get to think, people will think of you as an asshole. That's part of it. That's part of the deal.
Part of it.
You're the one who chose to end it. Yep. Like, you got to control an ending. They had to deal with something they couldn't control.
Yes.
And, like, yeah, like, you get to be thought of as an asshole for it. Like,
that's real.
That's part of the deal. Like, you don't get to, like, have the choice and get to be like, why aren't they okay with me? Like, why didn't they thank me? Why didn't they respond the way I wanted them to?
Right.
Like,
yeah. God, honestly, if I'm getting hit with, like, a breakup text, I don't have the willpower to delete the text. I don't have the willpower power to open it and ignore it. I have just too large of an arsenal of, like, evil comebacks. So don't send me a breakup text, because you're gonna fucking regret it.
Oh, I've like,
it's gonna hurt way worse on your end.
Or the proactive ones. Like, it's also like, it sounds like too, this woman's like, so first off, I also think you should not proactively reject somebody. If you go on a date with somebody, you go home, maybe you send thank yous, whatever. Okay. The only reason you should send a breakup text is if they say, hey, like, that was fun, let's go on another date. Like, I would like to see you again, blah, blah, blah. If they go home, if they say, hey, thanks, I had a nice time, if they go home and say nothing, don't send them anything. But, like, if the only reason you should send it is if they clearly want to see you again, you're not ghosting them if not. But, like, that is the only reason you should send it. And she didn't say, like, it's people who wanted to see me again. If you're, like, proactively sending rejection text for something someone didn't ask for, I'm sorry, you sound like a pretentious twat. I know you're a listener, sorry. I have emotional. I
love you, girl.
This is a triggering thing. I hate when people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm being really mean to our listener.
No,
I've been mean to both of our listeners today.
Oh shit!
Shit.
Well,
sorry.
Well, if you're a listener, you ought to know that we don't like a breakup text.
No,
hate a rejection text.
Yeah, like that's why I'm like, did this person because I've said this before, so I'm like
many times before.
Many times.
Many times.
And that's
before.
a person, but no, seriously. I think someone not responding, like, let them have it. You like.
Yeah.
Dumper, dumpy, I think is equally hard.
Yeah, you don't get to hear their emotions back. You don't get to hear what kind of impact this has had on them, which I think it maybe is kind of like a self-gratifying thing. You want to hear that you have taken something
I'm the
away.
nice one. I'm
the nice one. Or like, I want to hear how this hurts you, the fact that I am rejecting you and that I don't want to be with you.
I'm the better one.
Yeah. Like, I want to hear you say, what? No, please. I really liked you. Like,
and if you want them to say that, if you want to, oh, please, I really like you, don't end things with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No games.
No games.
Have you heard of, like, there's something on TikTok where it's like the orange peel theory or something. It's like,
I've been hearing about this.
This game shit is like fucking bullshit. Like,
well, yes, it is. But I think that, see, that's another thing about women organizing. And I have realized a lot of things.
I think that version of organizing makes us all look dumb.
I don't know. Because, okay, look, here, listen. When we hear about things like Simone Biles, you know what happened? I know we're running out of time, but Simone Biles, she does an interview with her husband. And he's talking about how he's the catch, whatever. She's giggling, kicking her feet. She's having a good time. That's her man. She doesn't fucking care, okay? And it's not, and the outrage or the discussion around it was not about Simone Biles and what kind of emotional damage she's suffering. It's about, like, wait a second, we all know men who do this, and why do we put up with it? Like, wait a second, I had a man who did this, I put up with it for a really long time, and this is what happened. And my experience is very similar to this other woman's experience. And it's like, maybe there are patterns that we should start identifying collectively. And so I think sometimes it's that kind of thing. It's the same with, like, clean up the spill of ketchup on the counter and we'll see how you do. And it's like, oh, if you want to pull the I don't know how to pick up a spill, it could be indicative of bigger things. Yeah, so, like, will you peel
ketchup on the counter for no reason?
But okay, but
prove a point.
To prove a point, sure. I think a lot of times when women do this, they want to prove that their boyfriend would do it for them. They're not actually necessarily testing their boyfriend to see if he
But that's the thing. The proving the point thing is dumb. Like anyone who does anything to make a statement or prove a point. And I say this because there are a lot of men out there who try to make statements and prove points. I had an ex that was king of. I just did it to prove a point. Like, I'm going to send you on a side quest to prove a point for a thing that didn't even exist. Like, I wanted to see. I thought it would be like, you know, the real treasure was all the friends you made along the way. Like, no, you wasted my fucking time.
Yeah,
get the fuck out.
Okay.
Like, oh my god, I want to. Like, this is the ex that you hate a lot.
All of them.
Well, yeah, but like the one,
yeah.
But,
I know. I know.
You know.
As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah.
Oh, the one. Did you see, like, at the beach? Did you see? Like, we're on the beach, like, for a vacation, and he's like, you see, like, we grew up by the beach.
Yeah.
He's pointing to the ocean. He's like, do you see that thing right there? I'm like, what? He's pointing at the ocean. I'm like, what? He's like, that's called a rip current. If you get caught in one of those, it'll drag you out to the.
Do you want to die, bitch? Oh my God.
You think I don't know what a rip current is?
Oh my fucking God, that would send me over the goddamn edge.
I grew up in but oh my God, king of proving points. Oh, like, I gotta take a stand.
A rip current. So you see that thing over there? You know what that is?
Yeah. I said what? Because I'm like, why are you pointing at the fucking ocean?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That man was delusional.
Delulu. That's I'm gonna hear from. Nobody contact me. I hope you're all doing well.
No one contact me.
Also, I love William Pearson, immensely, and I am like, no, but like, I feel like I'm not bringing his name up as a joke. Like, I am so lucky to have Buddy, like, a person who is rational. This was the Tolkien. It's taking effect. A person who is rational, reasonable, speaks when he's got something to say, is supportive with his actions, not just his words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he did? He made this our YouTube channel his bio on TikTok.
No way, really?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
He's very sweet.
Aw.
And we stand a man who does that. And I'm so lucky that all of those hiccups and clumps and bumps and dumps and I don't know what else brought me here.
Yeah.
To infinity and beyond.
To infinity and beyond. It's so true. Yeah, I think, and as discussion like improves around things, we get better at dating, or we get more aware of certain things. And as I mean, this is gendered, of course, but like as women get better at being aware of certain red flags in men and calling them out and identifying it, men will gradually get better and improve about doing those certain things and become more self-aware and be like, oh, am I mansplaining something? Like something that would never register to them before now has been pointed out by someone, and they have to be like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, no, and that's totally true. I think, like, having these conversations openly where it's, like, you know how somebody else thinks.
Yeah.
And I think also encouraging men to be open about their feelings. Like, there's a lot of things, like, that wouldn't have ever occurred to me that, like, men kind of struggle with. Even just the little things. If we didn't say, like, you know, like, open up. And then, you know, men are talking about these things more. And, like,
totally.
I appreciate that. So, yeah. Thank you, men. Thank you, kings and the queens and everything in betweens. And
Thanks, men. Love you guys.
And the real treasure is all the friends you make along the way. Stop vaping.
Enough.
No vaping.
Enough already.
Now.
All right.
Annabelle's got somewhere to be in.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Okay.
Girl.